One of the secrets in life is learning that something little can make a big difference. Today we're at Fresh Harvest in Rogers, where a couple of guys have not just learned that lesson, they've turned it into a business. Steve and Troy, thank you for welcoming us into Fresh Harvest. I've got to start by asking this question. How do a couple of guys from California who've been involved in banking in California end up with a balsamic vinegar and olive oil store in Rogers, Arkansas?
Well, that's a great question. Steve and I have known each other 25 years. We both worked for the same bank. I'm from here, and originally from Oklahoma, Missouri, and we both wanted to kind of escape the crush. We were looking for new opportunities. My parents live here, they were aging, and I needed to move here, and Steve said, I'm gonna go with you. And so we actually moved here together.
Clearly you were olive oil experts at the time, or no?
No.
Addicts.
We were addicts.
But you had a lot to learn about olive oil.
There was a shop in Oakland where we used to live that was actually the first olive oil store in the country, and it was opened by the owner's children, and we had stumbled across that shop just by mistake, and because they don't advertise, it's like in an alley, and we went in and they had all these tanks, and
I thought it was wine.
he thought it was wine, and that's the only way he came in, and I went in and I said, I don't like olive oil. So, and they're like, what do you mean? And I said, well, I'm from Oklahoma. I said, we don't dip bread in oil, you know, and I had tried it before, and I tasted olive oil, you know, at the tables where they served it, and I didn't like it. And the lady in the store said, honey, you've never had the real thing. And so I'm like, what do you mean? And she said, most of it's fake. I'm like, really? So I had my first taste of real extra virgin olive oil. We both did.
Yeah.
And it was really good. Yeah. And then they carried barrel-aged balsamics from Italy, and we had never had a real barrel-aged balsamic. We just had the watered-down stuff, and it was amazing. And so we became their customers.
Yeah, that's great. So you opened the store in Eureka Springs, and then we're going to open up a store here in Rogers, and that got delayed a little bit. Tell us that story.
Well, just a little bit. We were looking at some places, and well, this is a good time for you to chime in as to what came up
Well, what
next.
happened was because I got cancer. I was diagnosed with stage 4, 2 years after opening our store, 2.5 years after opening the store, and we started a thriving online business to ship. We have $10 shipping, so we ship to people who come to Eureka, and we started looking over here, and at about the time we started looking at spaces in downtown Rogers, I was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. And so that put everything on hold. And so 2.5 years through treatment, and I'm doing great. I'm in remission. And I will say the olive oil has some antioxidants that we can talk about soon. I'm not saying it's a magic bullet, but you know, food is medicine, and medicine is food, and that's our motto. And so once I healed, we picked up and started going again.
And then the space we're in now presented itself.
Yeah, I can't help but notice the mural behind you on the wall, this large picture. What's the significance of that?
Sicily has some of the best ruins outside of Greece. The Temple of Concordia is Temple of Harmony and Family Harmony, and then beside it is the infamous olive tree of the Temple of Concordia. Olive trees can live thousands of years. That olive tree is close to the same age as that temple. And olive trees have a symbiotic relationship with humans. They're actually shrubs and viney shrubs, but humans trained them to grow up to see how gnarled that is. And as a result of that training and that relationship, they can live thousands of years. And they produce a fruit that's filled with antioxidants. So when the customer comes into the store, we do educate our customers because there's a lot of misinformation in the olive oil business, in the oil business in general. So we always pour our customers a little cucumber lemon water to cleanse in between tastes. And I like to tell them we have fancy water, but we don't have fancy olive oil. We have authentic olive oil.
Okay.
Now, when I say authentic, I'm talking about extra virgin. There are 5 different grades of olive oil. There's actually a few more. We have extra virgin. That's the first pressing of the fruit. We have virgin, second pressing. Then we go light. If you ever seen light olive oil or extra light olive oil, that's the 3rd and the 4th pressing of the same fruit with chemical and heat extraction methods. The 5th pressing is pure olive oil. What a name, pure olive oil. It's actually the 5th pressing of the fruit with chemicals like hexane, which is a petroleum product. They literally dump it on the fruit after it's been pressed 5 times, and they burn it off. And that grade of olive oil is sold to consumers in the United States.
And the flavor changes depending on the grade of olive oil?
Dramatically. So I tell people we have authentic olive oil, it's extra virgin. Now what you buy in the stores is by and large fake. The reason I say that is because there's no FDA regulations on imported olive oil. We usually have 7 or 8 different varietals of extra virgin. Now when you taste this, I want you to smell it, and I want you to see the color, and then I want you to smell. It smells fresh, it smells good. If you ever smell olive oil, it smells like a crayon a little bit, that's rancid. Yeah. And then when we taste this, you're going to notice it's extremely creamy, fruity and berry with a pepper finish.
All right.
But not oily.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So we're now in this great tasting bar that you've got here in the store.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where we kind of conclude the tour, and we're going to introduce you to balsamic. So balsamic is the other half of the store, vinegar. The Romans invented balsamic 2,000 years ago to drink. It comes from the Latin word balm, healing balm. And the reason they would drink it is because drinking vinegar is really good for you. This is our 18-year-old barrel-aged balsamic. You're going to taste the grapes. It tastes like a tawny port, actually. A port wine or grapes.
Yeah, it does. It has a strong grape flavor.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
And it's probably sweeter than you thought it would be.
It is. Throughout Northwest Arkansas, there are unexpected joys. Fresh Harvest here in Rogers is definitely one of those. Thank you, Steve and Troy, for sharing your great story with us today.